And so he goes from there into MIT because he got some talent in science, decides he's going to discover astrophysics, finds no particular answers there, drops out of that. Then he's kind of unlucky in love, seriously unlucky in love, and moves back to southern Missouri where there are no jobs in family farming in that part of the world. And so he gets occasional money as a guest preacher. And also, he's a skip tracer. He's a bill collector for the local car dealership. And it turns out that people start coming to him with problems that no one else wants to solve. And he gets something of a reputation as both a agnostic, because his sermons are often about doubt and questioning and his curious mind, and also a faith healer, because, then later during COVID, he's visiting the sick and dying in the hospital, and there are these near-death experiences, and he knows enough science to know that that's not witchcraft. So the plot of Preacher Finds a Corpse, which is the very first in the series, is he finds not a relative, he finds his best friend, his childhood best boyhood friend, shot to death in a cornfield. And it's pretty clear it's suicide. But the question is, all right, I don't think Bob would do this to himself, but the coroner thinks so, the sheriff thinks so. But even then, what if someone drove him to it? If that's not murder, it's at least a sin. I want to find out who that was. So that's the engine of drama in the first book. And in the second one, he's got a couple of teenage kids. One's got schizophrenia, the other one epilepsy. One is accused of raping the other. Then the girl is abducted from the home where she's staying, and he's got to find out what's going on with that. So he stumbles into a teen trafficking ring. And in the third one, he's married at that point, and he's actually stepped into the role of minister because the older minister from the church is retired, and there's nobody else to fill the role. So right at the beginning of COVID, Evan, he's visiting the sick and the dying, he's performing weddings, and he's attending funerals, officiating at funerals. And then lo and behold, his wife is struck down in an automobile accident, and she's in a coma. Well, what does a clergyman do when you're being asked, you're a faith healer, can't you get your wife, can't you ask God to intervene? What are you going to do? And so then in this last one, which is, it turns out there was actually a plot by the U.S. intelligence community back in the 1960s to fake the second coming of Christ. And they were going to park a submarine off the coast of Cuba and set off a bunch of fireworks and loudspeaker. And they knew that they couldn't convince the entire world. They just were going to try to convince faithful Cubans to stand up against Castro by calling him the Antichrist. Well, as far as I know, that was never attempted, and Plan B was, the exploding cigars in those days. But it was only after I got into researching the book that I learned that there is a conspiracy theory, which is still active in some quarters, that maintains that NASA and the deep state are planning to use virtual reality to convince everybody Christ has come again.